The 49ers just got some bizarre news, and it leads to a really important discussion that I think we should have with one another. But also later in the video, I've got a story that you have to hear to believe. It shows the 49ers' incredible dedication to the plan going forward, and you're going to love it. Plus, later in the video, I've also got one more person who added in, who is often very critical of the 49ers, that's had a really, really good thing to say. That's all in this video. Hit subscribe if you're looking for daily 49ers content. I very much appreciate you guys. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day and a start to the weekend. But how important is the relative athletic score? How important is RAS? Like, let me know what you think about that. Because you know what? The 49ers score is weird. The players that were just drafted, not super high on the RAS. The average is bad. But that's not the full story. This story covered by Kyle Madsen, by the way, of Niners Wire. He did this article. Most of the 49ers 2025 draft class is sorely lacking in one key area, talking about the relative athletic score. For San Francisco 49ers fans in search of their 2025 draft class's RAS, avert your eyes on a list compiled by Pro Football and Sports Network. The 49ers ranked a measly 23rd in average RAS. And we had a lot of players, by the way, so keep that in mind as a factor as well. We'll get to that later. But the good news is one player, running back Jordan James, drags the average down significantly. A pair of other draft picks didn't compile enough pre-draft athletic testing to qualify for the RAS score. So those are definitely factors in what the RAS average is, okay? But the San Francisco 49ers, this is the quote, okay? The San Francisco 49ers 2025 NFL draft class would have fared better from an athletic standpoint if it were not for Oregon running back Jordan James. His 4.65 score, that's bad, by the way, it's out of 10. 4.65 score is well below average for the position at 5'9", 1 1/3 inches and 205 pounds. His size is a strong contributor to that low score. He also lacked explosion in the jumping tests. Okay, so we'll hold on to that information into your short term for a second here. Kansas State safety Marquise Siegel had the highest score among 49ers draftees, and this is a perfect picture of exactly what my point is. His 9.64 ranks 44th all time for free safeties. Siegel showed off his elite speed and explosion with a 4.37 40 and a 10-foot, 10-inch broad jump. Iowa guard Connor Colby, 9.48, also stood out, and that was a 7th-round draft pick. Am I mistaken? I think he was. He was late, for sure. He was a day 3 pick. He ran a strong 5'11" 40 and posted a 9'2" broad jump. He also has pretty good size for an interior offensive lineman. So I bring you back to the question. How important is the relative athletic score? Is that importance more positional? In other words, do I care more about RAS for a corner or even a safety than I do for a kicker? And I would say absolutely. Now, they factor that into the score, okay? The RAS is a pretty awesome metric. I'm not trying to dog the RAS right now, but I think the fair question is, do I really care? And if I admit it, like if I'm willing to admit the truth, I definitely believe a double standard on this, and so do you probably, right? Because when someone's score, like Jordan James, is low, what is your first thought? I'll tell you my first thought. My first thought is, dude, that guy is a perfect scheme fit, and everybody believes it. That guy is a day 1 starter in the position if he is needed. That's what people are saying. Like this season, Jordan James is going to be ready. If called upon, he's going to be ready to go in this system. He's going to be a great fit. He's going to do just fine. He's going to hit the ground running if necessary. Let's hope he's not necessary, to be frank with you. I'd love for him to have a true, solid rookie season and get a few snaps and get a little bit of touches here and there, but not have to worry about carrying the load. That would be good for our running back room. However, he's ready, right? And so on one hand, I do that. And then on the other hand, we have Marquise Siegel, and what do I tell you when I make a video about Marquise Siegel? This guy is crazy. He's an insane athlete. And so there's a double standard there between the one where I'm justifying a guy who has a bad RAS, and then I'm totally lifting up and celebrating that great RAS for another player. So let me know in the comments if you identify with that at all. But one more section of that article that I thought was interesting you might want to see. Among the players who didn't qualify for a score were Georgia edge rusher Michael Williams, which is amazing to think of a guy who goes in the first round and doesn't even have an official RAS. And then Texas defensive tackle Alfred Collins. Collins has elite size and 6'5", 1.5 inches and 332 pounds, but put up terrible jumping numbers. Williams has a solid frame and good speed, but had limited testing numbers. While injecting more athleticism may be helpful in the near future, it's not a huge deal. This year's class had a low RAS. Athleticism isn't the hallmark of James's game, which was apparent on film. Their two defensive linemen who didn't qualify are also quality athletes on tape, even if they're not elite in that department. Okay, so let me know what you think about this one. I think it's fair to say, like, there's a really good reminder at the end there that at the end of the day, it all comes down to the tape. Athleticism is great, but the tape doesn't lie. If you can take a great athlete and you can hope they turn into a monstrous edge rusher, but if they don't have the technique and they don't have the experience, they're going to be very tough to pull off. Okay? That's just the way that's how I feel about it. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. But George Kittle, let's talk about this guy. Because for the first time in a very long time, the 49ers went through the draft without bringing in a tight end. Of course, they've got Jake Tondres. They like him, we think. They signed Luke Farrell. They love him, we hope. That was just a few weeks ago. And, of course, George Kittle has just signed a massive, massive deal, becoming the highest paid tight end in football. That may sound like the whole story, but it is far from it. We recently learned from Diana Rossini that the 49ers had other options placed on their table. Let's read what she said on her Scoop City podcast, on her Scoop City podcast. She said this: I know there was a team that had a conversation with the 49ers the night before the draft about a possible trade for George Kittle, a second rounder they were looking to get in return. So a team has offered a second rounder for George Kittle. The 49ers decided to keep, they turned it down, the 49ers, and decided to keep him and really move this situation forward by getting a deal done. But there was a little interest there, some poking around. We know the 49ers don't turn down those phone calls. They take those calls. They're always willing to listen to whatever offers teams have, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But I absolutely love that the 49ers, I've gotten this offer, and it shows you what people think and don't understand about George Kittle, what they don't get. If you truly think George Kittle, and you know what? Some of you in the comments are probably going to feel this way, and I respect your opinion. I disagree with you completely, but if you think that a second-round pick is a fair justification for George Kittle, then I'm sorry. I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong because you're undermining the value that George Kittle brings to the team. You're undermining the total value George Kittle brings to the team. And, maybe that was their lowball offer and they were hoping to see that the 49ers would, say, oh, give me a first. That sounds unrealistic to me, but, maybe that's what happened there. Nicholas McGee, though, did write something else in this article I thought was really interesting here. On the surface, getting a second-round pick in return for a 31-year-old tight end would appear to be an excellent deal for the 49ers, but that simplistic assessment ignores Kittle's importance to the 49ers. Coming off a second successive 1,000-yard season in which he was once again the best blocking tight end in the game, Kittle, alongside Christian McCaffrey, is poised to once more be the focal point of an offense that might not have Brandon Aiyuk to start the season as he continues to recover from the devastating knee injury he suffered. Okay, I won't read the whole thing there, but you get the point. I think you get the point. One more thing I wanted to talk about, because I just did a video a couple days ago about how people are reversing their opinions. People who you don't expect to believe things about the 49ers are believing things about the 49ers. And another one of those guys is Ben Solak, ESPN. Now, to be fair, there have at least been a few things that Solak has said about the 49ers that I've agreed with, but there have also been a lot of things that I have staunchly disagreed with from Ben Solak. He's not exactly my favorite reporter in the world in terms of, I don't really love all of his opinions, all right? He's not a guy that I jive with. I don't love his takes. However, listen to this one, and I don't know what happened to my screenshot there where all the color went away, but I think I can make it work. It might just be hard for you to read on the screen. Apologies. But talking about Michael Williams being his pick for Rookie of the Year. Now, it's one thing when a guy like Baldy says that he feels like Michael is like a good fit for Rookie of the Year. Because we also know that Brian Baldinger kind of loves the 49ers and he kind of loves the fan base and he jives with us. So, I still massively respect his opinion because he's he's a professional, like he's legit. He's not blowing smoke. But it also feels different when a guy that often says things that I disagree with about the 49ers goes and says this. We are left with the Georgia alums. Mykel Williams joined with the 49ers pick at number 11, and Jalen Walker was taken by the Falcons 4 picks later. These are my 2 favorite players for Defensive Rookie of the Year. They play the splashiest position. Edge rushers have won the award in 5 of the past 6 years. They have very little competition for snaps. Williams needs to fend off only Yetur Gross-Matos and Drake Jackson to get opportunities opposite Nick Bosa, if Drake Jackson's even healthy. I still really believe in the kid, but yeah, he's got to be healthy. While Walker might be the top edge rusher on an Atlanta defense featuring Leonard Floyd, we know that guy. I cannot read the screen here. Plus fellow rookie James Pierce Jr. Neither Williams nor Walker was super productive in college, but both have landed in defenses that can maximize their skill sets. Williams will play under legendary defensive line coach Chris Kosirik, who will... Legendary? Some of you might not like that word. Who will free him up to play faster off of the line than he ever did at Georgia. Walker will play under coach Raheem Morris, who excelled in featuring a rushing linebacker in Caden Ellis. Sorry, I can't. It's great. It's so hard to see. Last season, Williams' play style and role leads itself to a little more pass rush production than Walker's outlook, as we should expect Walker to spend some time dropping into coverage. As such, I give Williams the edge. So there you go. Mykel Williams, Ben Solak, of all people, just another person jumping on the 49ers bandwagon in certain ways, even if this isn't the full way there. And I massively am excited about that. I love seeing guys who I typically am like, ooh, I don't know if I want to read this, saying things that I love to hear. There you have it. We are at 12 minutes. We got to end this thing, but I just wanted to tell you real quick, we're 7 days away from rookie minicamp, so make sure you don't go anywhere. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on all of the action. Very much appreciate all of you, and I hope you guys have an excellent weekend. It's been an absolute blast.